gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's November the 17th, 2023. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined this morning by Stephen Wagner as we discuss the news of the day, presented today by Caneswear, your headquarters for all your Miami Hurricanes merchandise needs. If you're on your way to Hard Rock Stadium tomorrow morning for the big game against Louisville, stop at Caneswear early, pick yourself up some gear. You can even get a sub next door at La Spada's. Kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. And basically, you will have the largest assortment of Miami Hurricanes gear ever assembled in one roof to choose from. Caneswear is your go-to spot. They're located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. If you do not live locally, you can go to Caneswear.com. We'll talk a little bit more about Caneswear in a few moments. But, Stephen, you've got your clothes picked out for tomorrow at Hard Rock Stadium. I know you're going to be looking nice and fresh when you roll into the parking lot at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's a big day for recruiting at Miami tomorrow. A massive visitor list coming for the game. Tell us a little bit about it. We have a story on the website this morning for everybody to check out. But give us your little synopsis of this visit weekend for Miami at the Louisville game.
Man, now I'm feeling a little bit of sudden pressure to look spiffy tomorrow. I was just planning on pulling up in t-shirts and or in a t-shirt and a pair of shorts or something.
Hey, man, there's some big time recruits coming.
There are. When five-star Florida commit LJ McCrae shows up to your final home game of the season, you better be looking spiffy. Miami's going to need to put their best foot forward because, quite frankly, we don't know when Miami is going to get this next opportunity with LJ. Now, LJ McCrae, the number 8 overall prospect in the country, 5-star defensive lineman, number 1 defensive lineman in the country. That's right. On3 actually has him rated higher than David Stone at the moment. He really is this big and this impressive of a prospect. And now a quick little history lesson. So Miami was a finalist for LJ McCrae before he committed to Florida. Now, Georgia was also in that mix. Florida State was also in that mix. And right now, Florida State and Miami are both pushing very, very aggressively to try to get LJ to flip away from the Gators. Florida State actually got his last official visit before he committed to Florida. And so there's a lot of pressure coming from both FSU and Miami. Now, I think a lot of people don't really realize just how optimistic Miami's chances were of landing LJ the first time around, because there was so much buzz around Florida and possibly Florida State. And quite frankly, there still is, a pretty fair amount of buzz around Florida and Florida State. But Miami was a team that was right there. And this is a team that's never really lost that confidence of, man, we really are still in this. We're just, we're this far away. We just need to do this one more thing. We just need to do these 2 more things. And I mean, quite frankly, because he's still visiting Miami's campus a month out from signing day, you cannot write Miami off. Any 2024 recruit who is visiting any campus 1 month before signing day, that school needs to be considered a threat. They have to be viewed as a threat, and it has to be viewed. There is absolutely a possibility that they could end up signing with that school. So that's LJ McCrae. Then we've also got Zay Mincy, his teammate, the number 30 overall prospect. I think he's the number 2 safety in the country. You might want to double check me on that, but I'm pretty sure
that is correct.
I'm pretty sure he's the number 2 safety in the country. He's also going to be coming down to Miami, going to give the Canes a second game day visit after he attended the Texas A&M game. LJ McCrae actually attended that game too. Now, Zay Mincy, at the moment, he's actually silently committed somewhere. We don't know where, though. That's the great mystery, and he's going to make that announcement. He's going to go public with it on January 6th at the Under Armour All-American game. He's going to do the hats on the table, and he's going to pick either Miami, Florida, Florida State, or Alabama. He's going to announce one of those 4 schools. He did recently take an official visit to Alabama. He's taken OVs to Miami and FSU and Florida as well. There was a lot of buzz around the Gators earlier. The Canes were a team that stuck in there the whole way. Florida State has remained very, very optimistic about their chances. And, Alabama, I'm never going to count Nick Saban out of any recruiting battle. I don't care which prospect it's for. I am never going to bet against Nick Saban in a recruiting battle. So he's going to be down in Miami as well. And then you've got a lot of other 2024 kids. You're also going to be having a few of Miami's commits who are coming back to kind of show the love, show that they've shored up their recruitment, that they've shored up their commitment, and that there's no chance that they're going anywhere else. I'm talking about guys like Chris Wheatley-Humphrey and then Vincent Shavers, who you'll remember less than a month ago. There was a little bit of there was a little bit of speculation that he could be flipping to Texas, or that Texas could become a recruiting threat for him because the Longhorns came in and offered him and apparently did try to make a little bit of a push and a little bit of a run at Shavers. But Shavers shut that down very, very quickly. He was very adamant. No, I'm a Cane. I am going to sign with Miami. Like that's an absolute guarantee. He even said, "Go Canes, baby." That's literally exactly what he said. Then you're also going to be getting your 2025s and 2026s. I think we're probably going to end up getting a little bit more than half a dozen of Miami's commits through through the 2024 and then one in 2026 who are going to be at this game. So, heading into the week, I was kind of wondering how big this visitor list really might be, because you think to yourself, Miami, they just lost 2 straight games. The offense hasn't looked really great. They haven't exactly, lit it up or anything like that. This is going to be their last home game of the season, and it's going to be a noon game. And I'm thinking to myself, man, how many, 16, 17-year-old kids the day after playing most likely a high school football playoff game are going to want to wake up at 8 in the morning if you live nearby. If you're going to want to wake up at 8 in the morning, eat a fast breakfast, and then head down to Coral Gables to watch Miami take on a top 10 opponent. Well, it turns out after looking at this list of kids that we're expecting to visit, it turns out there's quite a few kids who are willing to do that.
Another name that I love seeing on the list is Nikar, the receiver out of Georgia that's committed to Miami. I think he is one of the underappreciated commitments on this list. I think Nikar is going to be a phenomenal receiver at Miami. Good to see him coming back, and I think you'll also see him take an official visit in December. The thing I think, Stephen, that everybody's got to remember is with all the hullaboo about recruiting year round, it's all really starting right now. Like this last 4-week blitz, you're going to see a lot of guys flipping and flopping. The NIL game is going to crank up. Let's be honest. Whatever a kid thinks he's getting NIL wise at this point, that just means the market has been set. Okay. You're going to see some schools blowing through markets. This is going to be maybe, in my opinion, one of the craziest months of recruiting in the history of recruiting, because every school has a collective now. This is different. Like a year ago, Miami got a head start on everybody with NIL, with John Ruiz and Life Wallet and the whole thing. Well, now everybody's got a collective, okay? And schools are they also have budgets, okay? Let's make that clear too. So schools are going to have pecking orders, and everybody is not going to be happy with what they're hearing. And kids are going to look around and they're going to leverage schools against each other, try to get their best deals. So yeah, like Steven said, if a kid is showing up here at this point in the recruiting process, that means he is live. And it doesn't matter where he's committed. it means Miami is in the game and can't be dismissed. So we are really looking forward to covering this home stretch of recruiting for you guys. It's going to be wild. And like Steve said, a huge contingent coming to Hard Rock Stadium this weekend. You could see the whole list and the story on the website that's on our website at the moment, and catch up on who's coming in, where they stand. And we, of course, will be updating that for you after the game. All right. Another story I want to talk about, Stephen, was the story that we have on the website. It taking everybody inside the commit of 2024 defensive lineman Cole McConaughy came through on Thursday night. It was a little bit of a surprise commit. No argument, anybody that says that. But what's even more amazing is how that commit came together. Todd Stroud, former defensive line coach, he's now an analyst on Mario Cristobal's staff. He had a relationship from when he coached at NC State with former San Diego Chargers quarterback Phillip Rivers, who's now the head coach at St. Michael Catholic High School up in Alabama. And Cole McConaughy played against his team recently and really impressed Phillip Rivers. And he called Todd Stroud and said, hey, man, you might want to check out this Cole McConaughy guy. And things started happening really quick. Cole McConaughy, who had been committed to Louisville, snuck in to town a few weeks ago for the game against Virginia, fell in love with Miami's defensive scheme, fell in love with the Hurricanes. Now he's committed. Stephen, one of the more phenomenal stories of this 2024 recruiting cycle.
Yeah, if there was anyone that you would have told me was involved in his recruitment or kind of, jump-started his recruitment to Miami, I guarantee you the last guy I would have thought of would have been Phillip Rivers. But it turns out, and as he's telling me this, I'm literally searching all of these things on my computer, thinking to myself, is this true? Does this timeline actually line up? And yeah, it turns out Todd Stroud, who, as you said, is on Mario Cristobal's staff as a defensive analyst, he was an assistant coach at NC State while Phillip Rivers was the quarterback there. And Phillip Rivers remembered Todd Stroud. And so they play. And so St. Michael's Catholic takes on Spanish Fort, Alabama, Cole McConaughy's school. They take them on in a preseason exhibition scrimmage. And McConaughy apparently just really dominated that game and looked freaking fantastic. And right now, he actually leads the state of Alabama with 19 sacks. He is just a pass rushing machine. And Rivers thought so highly of him that whenever he was talking to Todd Stroud, he said, man, you guys need to give this guy a look. You legitimately need to give this guy a look. And so, a lot of the time, especially this late in a recruitment in the 2024 class, whenever a kid is being approached by a school like Miami, because let's be honest, if you're starting to recruit a kid in August and he's already committed elsewhere, and signing day is in December, you're most likely putting your position coach directly on that, or you're putting your head coach himself directly on that and making that first phone call and making that introduction. Nope, it was Todd Stroud, one of Miami's defensive analysts, who made that first connection, who got in contact with Cole McConaughy. And then from there, he ends up communicating with Jason Taylor, Joe Salvea, Mario Cristobal. And I really don't want to downplay just how involved Mario Cristobal was in this recruitment. Cole said he's not sure that he's ever had a head coach more involved in recruiting than Mario Cristobal himself. Yes, Jason Taylor was a huge reason why he wanted to come to Miami. Joe Salvea as well, and kind of the opportunity to play under two guys with NFL experience. And obviously Jason Taylor being a Hall of Fame pass rusher. But Mario Cristobal personally involving himself directly and taking a personal hand in this recruitment also really, really stood out to him. Just Cristobal's abilities as a recruiter, his attention to detail, all of this little stuff. Because, quite frankly, this is kind of what Mario does. Mario's the guy who builds these relationships through these, through this really, really tremendous attention to detail. He's the guy who remembers oh man, your nephew had a youth football game last Thursday against so-and-so opponent. How did that game go? He's the kind of guy where it's like, how do you remember that? How do you remember such tiny, minute details that are going to give you this slight edge? And basically, Miami was able to hammer and chip away. They got him down for that visit to the Virginia game. They got him down secretly, by the way. They snuck him into the stadium. They snuck him in to the recruit section. They were able to keep this whole thing very, very well under wraps. They were kind of able to, keep reporters away from it, quite frankly. And they moved very quickly. They moved very quietly. And finally, about a week ago, Cole comes out and says, Cole mentally comes out to his family and says, yeah, guys, I think that I'm ready to go ahead. I think I'm ready to go ahead and flip to Miami. He tells Miami earlier in the week. Coaches get really excited. And then on Wednesday night, he goes ahead and actually makes that formal announcement.
Yeah, I know I'm a little biased, but Miami, Louisville, you visited both Miami, Louisville. I like Louisville. Couple decent restaurants there I like to go to. I like to go to the horse races at Churchill Downs, and the Muhammad Ali Museum is phenomenal, and all those things. But like Miami, Louisville, I don't think it was such a hard decision for Cole, and not surprised that he committed. All right, we got a few other things we want to talk about today, but first, let me show you guys the new CaneSport.
Welcome to CaneSport.
New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, CaneSport has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. CaneSport, the spot.
And like I said, anything you need with a U logo on it, CaneSport probably has it. We're talking T-shirts, jerseys, polos, hoodies, hats, flags, decals, magnets. They have sizes for men, women, kids, babies. They'll even dress your pet. Whoever lives in your house, maybe they might even dress a mouse if a mouse lives in your house. CaneSport has them covered. And like I said, the largest assortment of Miami Hurricanes gear ever assembled under one roof. You can visit them at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, or at caneswear.com, 365. Caneswear.com is obviously always open. So before the Louisville game Saturday, go to CaneSport, 2655 South University Drive in Davie, or go online, caneswear.com, get yourself something new. You will not be sorry. CaneSport will take care of you. All right, Stephen. So there's presently 25 commits expected to put pen on paper. There'll be some changes. There will be. There always are between now and December 20th on signing day. We've already looked at the offensive guys. Now we're looking at the defensive guys today. 12 of them are defensive players. You can catch up on where each of them stand as signing day approaches. I'm sure you'll enjoy that story. We also have an update with Dylan Day, who is a safety commitment from Baton Rouge, who is in this class at the moment. He's getting some late interest from ACC programs like Georgia Tech. He breaks down for us where he stands. We have an update with Lucas Lovejoy, class of 2026 wide receiver Jalen Lott. He is very quickly establishing himself as one of the top wideouts in the country in the class of 2026. Miami's become one of the latest programs to offer him. Have a lot of company, no doubt. We also have a story on 2027 athlete Amari Irvin. He's getting double-digit offers from Power 5 programs. The latest came from the Miami Hurricanes. We caught up with him to get his thoughts. Of course, we have our continuing coverage to get you guys ready for tomorrow's game against Louisville. We have our You Bet CaneSport show on the website today with renowned local handicapper Lee Sterling. We break down the Miami-Louisville game, give you some tips on a couple other college contests this weekend. We also speak to Ruben Bain, who's finding that he's attracting a lot of extra attention these days after his emergence earlier in the season. It's making it a little tougher for Ruben, who quite honestly also might be hitting a little bit of a freshman wall. You got to remember, man, this is big boy football. This is college football. This is not playing for Miami Central anymore. The body takes a lot more wear and tear. You're going against 300-pounders every single weekend. And Ruben Bain, he's hanging in there. He's a tough kid, but we catch up with him and get the latest with him as well. So that's going to do it for Good Morning CaneSport. We got a big game tomorrow, man. This Louisville game, Stephen, is huge in my opinion. Miami wins this game. They're playing to go 8-4 when they go to Boston College the Friday after Thanksgiving. That's a way bigger deal than playing for 7-5. I don't know why, but at least you go 8-4. You know, you really were at least 9-3. They've every game they've lost has been close. You could feel decent about the season. I think you'll go to an okay bowl game and then move on from there. Losing one or two of these last games, it's going to be very hard to put a happy face on this season, the way the last 6 weeks have gone, just being honest. So get on out to Hard Rock, cheer on the Canes on Saturday, and we will see how that goes. And, of course, we will have all kinds of coverage for you on CaneSport.com over the weekend. If you're on YouTube right now and you like this show, like this channel, hit your subscribe and like buttons. They help us with the algorithms at YouTube and growing our audience. And if you are not yet a subscriber to CaneSport.com, please come on over to our website. Join our community of fans. You will not be sorry. We got a great group on there. We even let them talk a little politics over there on one of our message boards, and gets a little ugly at times. No argument, but at least they have fun with each other. And your subscriptions mean everything to us, allow us to do what we do every day to try to enhance your fan experience. So for Stephen Wagner, I'm Gary Ferman. Thank you for joining us once again, everybody. And we will see you again on this show on Monday. And we will see you at Hard Rock Stadium tomorrow. Hiring Gino Toretta's jersey, by the way, as well. That should be a lot of fun. Have a great weekend, everybody.